Hey there, Scorpio. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a reading for the remainder of May 2025. So we'll go ahead and shuffle your cards and see what's coming up. Scorpio. Man. Okay. The spread on this one's a little unusual, I have to admit. So I'm gonna do my best with these, and maybe for this reading in particular, lean on your own intuitive interpretations of these positions or these meanings, because I think it's going to speak to something that's very, very deep and very personal feeling to you. And I think it will sort of be an emphasis on the ways in which you are probably stuck in like the creation of your dreams. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like as far as what I'm picking up is going. Where you're getting stuck in creation, manifestation, creation, and where you may be stuck in repeated patterns that are preventing you from getting what you want. So I think this one's really going to need us to unpack as we go. So just to let you know, kind of your core energy that you're working with this for the rest of this week, basically. You have the Knight of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Swords. This is essentially putting you on lookout for the sabotaging elements and the ways in which you are maybe charging forward, trying to make something happen, or again, it could be around communication with other people, but I think it feels all in service of like making a dream happen or some important shift that you want to see. I say this because the Magician is also in your conscious realm for this month. This is the energies of creation, of pulling all of the resources at your disposal and kind of putting those things to use, and as best use as you know how. And what I'm sensing though is like a real sort of frustration in this creative endeavor. But I think you're kind of insistent in some sort of way on the way that you're speaking to people or communicating what it is that you want, or your desires. Or maybe And I don't think it's that your heart is in a bad place. It's that I think you may not be realizing that the way that you're communicating is sabotaging what it is that you're trying to do. There's a lot of sword energy in your mix here, and with the Knight of Swords in reverse here, my impression is carrying messages, taking action, but also kind of there is a communicative element in this energy too. And so if that's ultimately sabotaging you or not turning out how you want your words to come out, the meanings aren't landing in the way that you want them to, or people aren't receiving your messages well, it's probably time to evaluate a different strategy for how you're manifesting or what you're working on. And I think maybe in some sort of way you know this, but there's a so I don't know exactly what this is just yet, but in your subconscious realm for the remainder of the month, you have the Nine of Swords in reverse. This is it feels to me like a stuck anxiety pattern. And maybe why this is feeling in such a deep way is this is like a driver, essentially. There may be an anxiety pattern in you that is kind of driving you to be taking your action, and so if that anxiety is actually the motive or the prime sort of supplier of energy to this creation, the creation just is not going to be that ideal thing that you want to happen. So I think in some sort of way, it's going to be important to get clear on the ways that your anxieties or fears are showing up in the way that you're speaking to people, the way that you are conceiving of how your dream is going to come to be. Because if you're not visualizing from a place of relaxation with this, or, kind of feeling what it is like to be relaxed and having, the feelings that you ultimately want to have with this dream fulfilled, if you're not beginning with that sort of energy, or you haven't made enough room for it in your physical system, in your body, it's going to be, you're just not ultimately going to be working with anything clear. In order to get this kind of bright creation to happen, it needs to be coming from a brighter place in you, something that's more relaxed. Let's see if we can go ahead and get some clarification on both the Magician and the Nine of Swords. And I think I hit this, but this isn't just anxiety. This is like an anxiety that's been enduring or has been really in the mix of your experience for a long time. Could be limiting beliefs in some sort of way. Why is the Magician here? Don't think so. For Scorpio's highest good. Just doing some clarifying here. Okay. Yeah, and I think there just might be some real frustration on your part as well, just in the process of this, and maybe heartbreak or heartache at this too. Really wanting something worthwhile and wholesome to happen for you, but not understanding what's going on. Like, why is it not happening? To clarify the Magician, you have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the King of Cups. So it's almost like there is an emotional awareness. You're very aware of the energies that are happening with you. I think that's a strong intuitive gift that you have, is to know emotionally, like, what is really happening, and under the surface as well. But then this Knight of Pentacles, maybe it's just getting really, really frustrating that things are moving so slowly, or stalled completely. So yeah, so if things are stalled completely, it could be a mixture. It could be a variety of things. It may be a good time to go back to the drawing board in kind of back to basics on your dream, or the image that you have for the life that you want to live. Because what I'm also seeing, to kind of widen the scope of this reading for you, you have the Ace of Cups in your challenge, and this kind of suggests, I don't know what to suggest yet, but it's basically a difficulty in feeling what it is that you want to feel, that happiness, that joy. I think the feeling of being stuck in some sort of way, in like patterns that are not helping you, or in taking action toward what you think is your goal, but the action is just doesn't seem appropriate, or doesn't feel like it lands appropriately. And your advice for the month is the Hanged Man and the Three of Wands in reverse as well. So there's a new perspective on the grand vision, I would say, is what this feels like to me. If the vision of what is coming to you maybe feels tired or confused, or again, like stuck in some sort of way, it could be second guessing as well. And this might be, I hope that this is not a projection of mine. Typically, the cards will all be coming out, or mostly be coming out face up, or with the not reversed. And this time, for whatever reason, through the shuffling at the last moment, the orientation of the cards changed, or I changed them, or something made those cards change. So maybe there's a lot of conditions in your life that are changing as well, that are making it very difficult to proceed in the way that you had planned. And there could be a lot of resistance to rethinking your approach right now. Let's see both why the Ace of Cups is the challenge, and why the Nine of Swords is in your subconscious world, why that anxiety is kind of has taken over the direction of your action. So, Ace of Cups in reverse. Why is Ace of Cups the challenge? Why does this positive feeling feel elusive? I don't know about that one. Yeah, I think this may be, this is a reading that's a call to take inventory of your experiences, and journaling could be a really important way of doing this, because I think that there's like maybe an overwhelming amount of problematic elements happening, like enough maybe discordant experience that is just making life feel really, really hard right now, that you may just want to kind of like take an overview, like even like journaling out the way things go throughout a day or something, like how you felt, and maybe your encounters with other people, what were they like? And maybe just setting aside even a few minutes to reflect on these things and jot down your notes or what you find. I think it's going to maybe clarify some of your frustration, or like at least let you know what's not sort of on board for you, what's not really working in your system for you right now. So what I got to clarify the Ace of Cups in reverse for your challenge is the Five of Wands in reverse, the High Priestess reversed, and the Seven of Wands reversed. So I think here this is sort of like conflict energy. It may feel difficult to feel fulfilled when you feel at odds with the people around you, when your day-to-day life and encounters are just feeling like just even rude, like combative energy. And if your high priestess, that intuitive self, is not on board, if the high priestess is in some sort of way you're not able to tap into that intuition, like that anxiety is going to run rampant. There's not much grounding at all here that I'm finding in the reading so far, other than to just pull back a bit and observe what is actually happening in your experience and writing it down. Because along with that sort of competitive or combative energy, you also have this defensive Seven of Wands. So this could be showing up in a myriad of ways. I think that maybe each element of this reading may not be for everyone, but I think everyone will pick up a little bit of their emotional hardship coming through in this somehow, so whether it be you're having difficulty feeling like on the defense against people, your interactions with people are not feeling very amicable, not very light, not very friendly. If it feels like, from day to day, you maybe set an intention but are not able to follow through with that intention, maybe habit patterns take over that prevent you from feeling productive. I think this could be a lot of showing up in a lot of ways. But I want to clarify your advice, because I don't think I think this is like a potentially a pivotal moment to rethink your plan, take stock of where you're at right now, what resources are available to you, and yeah, let's see if we can get a little bit more clarity on this Hanged Man and the Three of Wands. Okie doke. See if there's one more for us. I hope this is resonating for you. I hope that you're finding something that actually feels true for your experience, because this is not an easier one for me, and I think I'm having doubts about how effective or accurate this is going. So if there were a time to leave a comment, to give me your reaction, this video would be I would very much appreciate it. Yeah, so the flavor of this one is quite different. The Hanged Man in reverse or the Hanged Man and the Three of Wands in reverse is clarified by the Two of Cups and the Eight of Swords. So I think that the reading seems to be highlighting basically the reasons why you need to reconnect with people, or maybe soften your heart a bit and open up to, and even just humble yourself in some sort of way in connecting with other people, of feeling that shared humanity. Because this Eight of Swords is in a stuck energy, a stuck feeling, but is not actually stuck. It's like a stuckness in the mind, basically not seeing any way out of the situation because you're not necessarily looking for a way out of the situation. And I hope that that doesn't land harsh. What I mean is that all of the energy right now seems to be going into, why is everything wrong? This is very wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Kind of a fixation on a negative experience, or a lot of negative experience. But if you open it in some sort of way, in some sort of gentle way, and this could even be a simple acknowledgement to yourself that, oh, I've been feeling stuck. I feel stuck, but I don't need to continue being stuck. Basically, allowing yourself to observe that it's very unlikely that life is working against you. I think it's more likely that you've fallen into a hard, problematic way of being that is somehow triggers are playing on one another again and again. And I think an important acknowledgement that you can make to yourself is like, oh, this is a system of reactions. This is a pattern of reaction. This is not me. This is not all of the energy that's available to me. These are not the choices that I have to make. And even beginning by making small choices to do something different. Again, kind of taking a moment to take stock of what it is you have been experiencing, and just shifting maybe one of those things, like asking yourself how you can brighten your perspective, or shift just shift in some sort of little way, because I think that's going to have a snowball effect of positivity and likely connection with people. There's a real emphasis on maybe bringing other people in to help you heal your heart right now. And it's possible that in maybe trying to manifest something with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, it could be part of you really, really wants that to happen, but the external indicators are that it's not the right time, or that maybe the resources that you need are not quite available yet. But there's also the possibility that with opening your heart a little bit, kind of softening for yourself and for other people, kind of being the example of how to compassionately communicate. I think that you're aware, that you're very aware of your feelings and your emotions. And maybe at this moment, if you were to make more room for other people's, and even just like checking in with other people, they may be keys to the next step in your dream, the next step in your evolution. It could be that if you were thinking about like not having enough resources to do what it is you want to do, connecting with other people may bring in all of like more resources than you knew you needed. Like, so you may connect with someone who offers something, or the conversation between you sparks an idea of how you can pursue your business or your creative project, or whatever your next endeavor is. You could find that this more open communication actually sparks a more clear way forward in doing what it is that you want to do. So I think we've gone as far as we can go with the tarot right now. So I'd like to draw a few oracle cards for you to see if some of those messages kind of carry you through this moment. This feels like a strong kind of emphasis on your experience right now that you're having, and the hardships and the things that you're up against. And I think that was very important to do. But let's see what comes through the oracle cards to kind of guide you into this week. Some of the touchstones that you can keep with you to make these little shifts that we discussed. And I don't know why, but I just kind of got an intuitive hit that burnout from too much work could be, or just trying to handle too many things could be in the mix of the hardship that you're experiencing. So maybe in that analysis that you do of your behavior, of your experience, of your emotional states, check in on the balance between the energy you're giving out into like taking action or helping other people, and then how much you're reserving for yourself. That may help as well. Let's see, can we get some oracle cards for Scorpio? Man, I'm just not feeling so sure about these. Okay. For the highest good of Scorpio. Interesting, we just kind of mentioned burnout. Exhaustion is in the mix here. This could be especially difficult if you are the kind of person who is a pillar for the family and people around you or friends. Someone who is kind of been the one who is solid, reliable all the time. This could be a humbling time to acknowledge, like, man, yeah, you need some energy and time for yourself too. It's very difficult to be a pillar of, strong constitution for yourself and other people all the time. And as part of that, like Two of Cups energy, maybe you could outsource a little of your responsibilities to other people, or simply communicate that you're overwhelmed and see what other people can do to take some stuff off your plate. Because maybe just sharing how you're feeling will let people know, like, oh man, Scorpio is in a rough spot. I can actually help out. I can do more for myself than I typically can, so I can help. You never know what might happen from that kind of honest conversation. Okay. We'll get a couple more. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think this is sort of like a come to Jesus reading. So I hope that it feels like a positive permission to kind of change things up for you that have been very hurtful and damaging or just stressful. Because I'll show you. The exhaustion is in the mix here, along with stress, yet with understanding. There's kind of like maybe you've been fighting this understanding for a while that, you're burning the candle at both ends and things are not going to be able to continue this way, but kind of resisting that moment, to kind of call a time out. But I think you're coming up on the breaking moment if you don't kind of address this a little bit more proactively. So I'm going to read from the guidebook on these because I do think that those messages are very helpful. So let's see first what you might gain from observing your exhaustion. This is the portrait of one whose life energy has been depleted in his efforts to keep fueling the enormous and ridiculous machine of self-importance and productivity. He has been so busy keeping it all together and making sure everything runs smoothly that he's forgotten to really rest. No doubt he can't allow himself to be playful. To abandon his duty for a trip to the beach could mean that the whole structure might come tumbling down. The message of this card is not just about being a workaholic, though. It is about all the ways in which we set up safe but unnatural routines for ourselves, and by doing so, keep the chaotic and spontaneous away from our doors. Life isn't a business to be managed, it's a mystery to be lived. It's time to tear up the time card, break out of the factory, and take a little trip into the uncharted. Your work can flow more smoothly from a relaxed state of mind. Now we've got stress. How many people do you know who, just when they are completely overloaded with too many projects, too many balls in the air, have suddenly come down with the flu or taken a fall and ended up on crutches? That's just the sort of bad timing the little monkey with the pen in his hand is about to impose on the one-man band pictured here. The quality of stress represented by this card visits all of us at times, but perfectionists are particularly vulnerable to it. We create it ourselves, with the idea that without us, nothing will happen, especially in the way that we want it to. Well, what makes you think you're so special? Do you think the sun won't rise in the morning unless you personally set the alarm? Go for a walk, buy some flowers, and fix yourself a spaghetti dinner. Anything unimportant will do. Just put yourself out of that monkey's reach. Okay, now for the shining light of understanding. The bird pictured on this card is looking out from what seems to be a cage. There's no door, and actually the bars are disappearing. The bars were an illusion, and this small bird is being summoned by the grace and the freedom and encouragement of the others. It is spreading its wings, ready to take flight for the very first time. The dawn of a new understanding, that the cage has always been open, and the sky has always been there for us to explore, can make us feel a little shaky at first. It's fine and natural to be shaky, but don't let it overshadow the opportunity to experience lightheartedness and adventure on offer, right there alongside the shakiness. Move with the sweetness and gentleness of this time. Feel the fluttering within. Spread your wings and be free. Man, I think maybe you needed to hear all of the ways that you have taken on responsibilities and all of the stress or the tasks that have piled up for you. I think maybe you needed to see that for some reason to kind of, for this moment of understanding to occur. And I think that's why this reading focused so heavily on those hard feelings that you've been experiencing and those frustrations. And I think the advice here is that you can lighten up so much. You can start small, finding that one or two little places in life where he's like, oh man, like it would be wonderful if I could lighten this load. Start there. Start with kindness toward yourself, some compassion, empathy for yourself, your own experience and how hard it's been. And know that you have people and resources around you who want to see you be free and want to help you be free. And you can do it. That's the thing. There is power here. Just allow yourself as best you can to connect with other people, kind of soften things up a little bit. And also just remember the permission is here to fly, to be free. So don't be afraid of connection. Even though it's felt hard and tough, that's been the result of this exhaustion you've been in. That's not the way things really are. So I hope things lighten up for you, free you a little bit more. And I will talk to you another time. And if for some reason this kind of opened something for you and you'd like a personal reading from me as well, please check out the description for my email. I'd be happy to read for you. Until then, take care. Bye.